So I figured this time we're gonna do a nice colorful parakeet, but at the same time, I am not going to get gloomy, but I have a story to tell you. And it has to do with the World Trade Center when I used to work there back in the 90s. Basically, it's how I've been a technology person for nearly 30 years. And I want to just share the story of how I went from the mailroom to a technology person that travels the country. And I was working in Fort World Trade Center, and I thought I would just share that while we're coloring. I hope you enjoy it. I mean, it's a story that will be with me the rest of my life, and it has that much more meaning because of the events that happened on 9/11, and being that today is unbelievably the 20th anniversary. So our thoughts and prayers with everybody and their families. So with all respect, please enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy the story. It's not a long story, though I tend to babble on. So anyway, enjoy. And again, Jonathan, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's start. So, I worked for many different places, but anyway, you know what? Instead of going into a long thing, what happened was I was in between jobs and I was taking odd jobs. It was in the winter, probably around 92, something like that. And I ended up getting a walking pneumonia. I had to get admitted to the hospital. And of course, while I'm in the hospital, my sister tells me, you have an interview for a job in 4 days. And it was for a mailroom. She was an executive assistant. And I'm not going to name the company. It's pretty big, but anyway, I checked myself out a day early in the hospital. I go on the interview the next morning, and I get the job. And the day they want me to start, I can't start because I relapsed because I left the hospital early. Anyhow, sorry for talking around. So what happens is I end up getting the job, and I'm working. It's in the mailroom, bringing everybody the mail, sorting it, all that stuff. And I'm not knocking anybody that has any job, but when I do a job, I do it to my fullest. So anyhow, what happens? You have my supervisor who will remain nameless. And remember, this is in Full World Trade Center. It was right between 1 and 2, the 1 and 2 towers. So back in those days, there was a lot of companies had IBM computers, 386. A lot of you listening to this probably wasn't even born yet. No, please. Anyhow, so I didn't know anything about computers. Nothing at all. I mean, zilch. So my supervisor would be on it all day, And even though I didn't know anything, I knew he was milking it, acting like he was doing stuff just so he couldn't help, right? So anyway, what he would do is, when he would go to lunch, I became curious. And I remember one day I jumped on the computer. I think in less than 10 seconds, I did something that froze the computer. So I went back to work. He comes back from lunch and he says, "Hey, did you touch this?" And I'm like, "What?" And I said, "Oh, man, I don't even know anything about those." Right? I lied, of course. So he was, "Did anybody come in here?" And no, I didn't want to, I didn't want to try to blame anybody. So I said, "No." Whatever. So this went on for about a week, and I crashed it every time. Every single time. I got a little further every day, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just clicking things. And then it happened. He had this game. Back then, the games were very pixelated. Very pixelated. He went to lunch, so I jump on the computer, and he came in the back door. He set me up. He left a game up because he probably figured if it was me, he was going to catch me. Well, it worked. So it was a Friday. It was payday. And back in those days, you cash your check. There was a little direct deposit, but it was mostly you get your paycheck and you cash it in the cash checking place. So he comes up to me and tells me, "Give me $50. And I'm like, "Oh man, this guy's gonna start shaking me down now." I can't afford to lose my job. So I don't even question it. I just give him $50. And let me tell you, in 92, 93, that hurt. $50. What happens is, 10 minutes later, comes back. Let me just look at some colors, what I want to do here. So he comes back and he has a monitor, an IBM computer, the whole setup. He goes, "This is yours. Don't ever touch my computer here again or you're fired." So basically, I told you they had a bunch of 386 computers, they were called IBMs. They had like maybe a 20 megabyte hard drive. Some of them had 80 megabyte hard drives. Those were the real good ones. And if you had a gigabit hard drive, you were like way ahead of the technology curve, right? So that after we got off work, he drove me home. He went inside, he set it up, and he installed Windows 3.0. So any of you youngsters that are using Windows 10 or anything, look up Windows 3.0. That's where it started. So anyhow, he sets it up. My girlfriend, who was living with me at the time, doesn't know what's going on. And he repeated, he was leaving. He said, "If you ever touch the computer in the office again, you're fired." And he walked out. Well, I stayed up all night. I didn't go to sleep. I was playing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was playing with the computer. And that went on for a while. And my girlfriend ended up moving out. She broke up with me. She claimed that I love the computer more than her. And I didn't love it more than her. Maybe I did, but not in that way. It was just that I fell in love with computers. I really did. Technology. And she didn't understand, but I could see her point now. What really did it was she kept fighting with me, arguing with me over it. And one night she went out with her girlfriends. Excuse me. Oops, sorry. I didn't realize this isn't focusing like that. You see, is that happening a lot? All right, give me a second here. I'm sorry. Let me put this on manual focus. It's gonna shake a little bit. All right, I apologize. I'm just coloring and talking. I didn't even know if that was going in and out like that the whole time. My apologies. So, anyway, she went out with her girlfriends, and instead of me thinking like, maybe do something or whatever, I decide, wow, let me take this thing apart and see what's inside it. She comes home and I have the computer all taken apart, maybe 500 pieces on top of our bed. That was it. That was the last straw. She broke up with me. I never seen her again. And I'm serious. She just like went crazy on me. So I was like, oh man. So I became a full-time computer geek, and I started self-teaching myself. I would buy every payday. I would go to J&R Music World, buy the latest gadget, buy the latest book, and you know what? I'm talking too slow. I'm doing this too slow. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Sorry. So I started learning. So what happened was, in this company, they had that policy like a lot of companies used to. I don't know if they still do, but before they hire from outside, they will post a job on the bulletin board and let's see if anybody internally wants the position and if they qualify. Let me see something here. So that's yellow. Let me see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now we're going to come in here. I'm just doing a little anything. I'm going to put whatever is the natural colors for it, but it's not going to be the normal, like, parakeet. It's going to be a little funky, but correct colors. Anyway, so they had this job. It was called Desktop Support Specialist, and I applied for it. And I told my supervisor that, and he applies for it too. And I didn't understand that, and I asked him why. I asked him why, because his job as the supervisor of the mailroom paid more than this entry-level computer job. He never gave me a valid answer. I think he honestly was jealous because, I went from not knowing anything, and in 6 months, they're considering me for a job. I'm technical. Well, I got the job. And from that moment on, he never spoke to me again. And I'm not even kidding you. And what happened was, I got so deep on it, within another 6 months after getting the job, I traveled to maybe 14 different of our branches around the country, in Puerto Rico, all over. He was furious about it. He tried to get me fired a few times. So anyway, I don't want to turn it into a negative. That's my story of how I became an IT person nearly 30 years ago. And it was in the World Trade Center. For World Trade, we had other offices in 2 World Trade. I had other jobs in other companies before 9/11, and they were in the World Trade Center. I used to build stock trading. I was the head of the technology to build trade desks for stock traders and all that. But I had a lot of memories in the World Trade Center. I lost a lot of friends on the day, but I just wanted to share that with you. I don't know. I just thought it was appropriate, but I'm going to get to the drawing now because we're at 15 minutes. I want to try to get through this. Okay. Thank you for listening. Where somebody sent me a message on Facebook asking, it's funny, a few people have commented on my accent. And where am I from, like really, originally? And I tell them I'm from Tennessee. Don't you hear my southern accent? Yeah, I'm just kidding. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. And I still reside in New York, just not in Brooklyn. Now I'm in Queens, New York. I won't say exactly where, but not that anything, but that's where I'm from. I mean, it's not like, I guess somebody just wanted me to say it. I mean, how I don't hear it myself, but as soon as I travel to another state, unless it's New Jersey or something like that, or Pennsylvania, but anywhere I travel, right away I hear, oh, you're from New York, aren't you? And I always say that corny joke. I say, no, I'm from South Carolina. Like that. They just laugh. But no, I'm a lifetime New Yorker. Would like to move to another state. I mean, it's nothing against New York. I've been here my whole life, but that's just my point. I've been here my whole life. I don't know where I should go. I don't know why I keep thinking South Dakota, but I don't know. Or Florida. Where should I go? And again, it's funny. When I seen I had a message in Facebook, I thought, because I had mentioned it before, I said, hey, send me some requests. What do you want to call? I thought that's what it was. And the request I received was to tell them where I was from. Where's my accent from? It's funny. I gotta tell you, sometimes if you see I miss and you see little white spots, it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult with the lighting to see everything. Even on a monitor, it's hard. with the light and all these little dots and everything, your eyes, they start crossing. Any noise you hear, like police cars and all that stuff, I apologize. It's the one thing I can't control. And I could, let me see what color we're going here with. I know what to do. What do I have to do? Let's come back down there. Let's get this head going over here. I was gonna say I have this great app called, well, a lot of people's NVIDIA RTX voice. It's noise canceling, but wouldn't that be like defeating the purpose, right? If I just cancel all the noise, you're not logging on just to hear my voice. More colors right now. Oops. Beacons, what do you want? a little darker. Stop. I already messed up. It's in 2 seconds. That's okay, right? I just say the bird is having a bad feather day. Curious what made you, like, if you're, let's say, for non-ASMR creators, just say for people who listen to it, use it, I'm curious what got you into it? Like, how did you discover it? I discovered it, to be honest with you, I don't know how I discovered it. All I know is, I think I mentioned in the last video, the person who was the first one that I ever turned aside and listened to was the feather. She was, I didn't even know what ASMR was. To be honest with you, I came across, I almost went right over the bird's feet. I thought they were rings for a minute there. I came across, she was dressed up as a police officer. And I'll be honest with you, excuse my language, I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't know what I was watching. But I loved it. I totally loved it right from the beginning. And I still didn't know it was ASMR. I didn't pay attention to the letters. I just was like, but then when I started looking into it and I started finding more, I was like, whoa. And I forgot who it was. It was these 2 women. I apologize, I cannot remember their name. But when I see a lot of people talk about tingles, well, let me just say this. Let me see something here. I'm sorry. I understood what people meant because they were making these sounds that literally I felt, I guess I can explain it like goosebumps. Like they went from my feet all the way to the top of my head, like when it felt like electricity. I'll put it that way. And it was like, whoa. And I've been hooked ever since. There's so many. I hate to even just throw names out there because, trust me, there's so many people that are doing ASMR. Obviously, you can't expect somebody to watch every person, but I listen to, her name is Maddie. I believe it's Maddie. I'm just gonna do this pink. I like this color. And I think there's so many of you that are just like brilliant, I have to say. You know. And what I like doing, everybody isn't cut out for creating ASMR. You know what I mean? It looks simple, like people doing role plays. It looks simple, but it's not. It's a lot of hard work. And I give a lot of credit to the ones that really, and it's not knocking anybody. I would never discourage anybody. But I like to look for the new ones also, because everybody needs a chance. And there's no newbies here, nothing. Everybody starts somewhere. Okay? So, with that being said, what I want to do is one thing. Wait, I'm gonna mess up the color scheme. Yeah. I know that's supposed to stay white, but I don't care. And I did. I made that too dark. It was supposed to be lighter green, and I messed it up. Now it looks like a weird parakeet. Anyhow, I'll put a little note that says, please comment, but forget the eyeball. Anyhow, with that being said, try to give everybody their shot. Everybody, we all start somewhere. Okay? So, anyhow, I'm gonna leave it off with, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers are with those we lost, the families, 9/11, any of you that we all were directly affected. But anybody, truly directly affected, we won't forget, no matter what happens, okay? So, thank you all. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day, your night, to watch me color and listen to me babble on. So, please let me know if you have any recommendations, requests, anything, and I would do my best to accommodate you. All right, and let me know what you think of the parakeet. Except the eye. That wasn't my fault. I got distracted. Okay, folks. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.